Hello there, welcome to African Hope Lectures Online. It's me, Elijah, and I will present to you today the simultaneous equations, and we will specifically be looking at the substitution method of solving simultaneous equations. However, in this video, we will only focus on one technique of solving simultaneous equations, which is solving simultaneous equations by equivalence, or in other words, in the Sudanese book that we shall be using, they call it cancelling by equivalence. But actually, what they wanted to say is that they actually wanted to talk about the comparison methods, that's what they actually wanted to write. So here we shall be looking at simultaneous equations, substitution methods, and substitution method of solving simultaneous equation is consisting of two techniques. One is solving by cancelling, or which is our solving by equivalence, which they call cancelling by equivalence. That's how it is in the Sudanese book. And then secondly, solving by substitution, which they call cancelling by substitution. So in this video, we will only focus on cancelling by equivalence. So what is the idea behind this? The method of solving by substitutions, which is cancelling by equivalent, cancelling by equivalence, is based on the following ideas, and here are the steps that you must do when you want to cancel by equivalence. So one is to make x the subject of the formula. So you make x in the first equations, make the x the subject of the formula in the first equations, make also x the subject of the formula in the second equations. And then secondly, you have to equate the values of x in the first equation with the values of x in the second equations. So after this is the second step, after you made x the subject of the formula in the first equation as well as the second equation, you have to equate the two values. And to equate means that you make them equal or make them equivalent. So the value of x in equation 1 should be equal to the value of x in the second equation, which is equation 2. So after that, we will have to solve the value of y in the equation, because after you equate the values of x, you will only get the terms that comprise of the constant and the y. So that means you will have an equation that will only have one unknown, which is y. So after you get the value of y, you have to solve for the value of x by substituting the value of y in any of the equations. Okay, so you either take equation 1, but it should be the transform equation. So it can be any equations, but you should make it as a transform equation, an equation which is in terms of x. Okay, an equation where x is the subject of the formula, so that you get the value of x straight away. But any equations can work. So here are some of the examples that we shall be looking at. These examples are taken in the grade 8 textbook of Sudan. So this is example 1 in the book. Okay, in example 1 we have x plus 2y is equal to 1. We call that one equation 1. And then 3x plus 4y is equal to 7, and we call that equation 2. We also have second example, which is having equation 1 as 2x minus 5y is equal to 14. And then another one is 4x plus 3y is equal to 2. So now you have two examples. So let us look at example 1. So we are going to look at the solution to the first equation, examples. So the first example is having x plus 2y is equal to 1 as equation 1, and 3x plus 4y is equal to 7 as the second equation. So the first step is to make x the subject of the formula in the both equations, equation 1 and equation 2. To make x the subject of the formula in this equation, it means that you are going to take anything that is not x here to the other side of the equation. So what is not x here is 2y. Okay, so we are going to get rid of this 2y. We are going to remove this 2y. How do we remove it? In mathematics, if you want to remove any number, if that number is positive, then you have to introduce negatives. So, and they should have the same value. So you have to introduce negative 2 here, whereby you will have like 2y minus 2y. That is going to give you 0. Now we have eliminated that. But in math, we do not eliminate something for good. It has to appear on the other side of equations. Okay, so if we are to remove 2y on this side, we have to also remove it on the other side. So let us check it. So in the first equations, we are going to subtract 2y from both sides. So if we subtract 2y from both sides, we will have something like this: x plus 2y minus 2y is equal to 1 minus 2y. Therefore, x is equal to 1 minus 2y. That's for the first equation. Second equation, we have 3x plus 4y is equal to 7. So what is not x here is 4y and 3. Okay, so let's first of all deal with 4y. Subtract 4y from both sides, and then divide both sides of the equation by 3. So this is what we are going to get. If we subtract 4y from both sides, we can see these 4y and 4y cancel each other, and then you have 7 minus 3y. So the equation that will remain, this one is 0, so we don't write 0, we only write the term that is remaining, which is 3x. So 3x here is equivalent to 7 minus 4y. So here we are going to divide both sides by 3. So after dividing both sides by 3, it is this 3 that we need to get rid of here. So we divide both sides by 3 here, both sides by 3. So if you see 3 divided by 3, it gives you 1, right? So, and then we divided this term by 3. So if this is 1, we do not write 1x or 1y. So in algebra, we just write the terms. So we only remain with x here, but we know that coefficient is 1. So x is equal to 7 minus 4y all over 3. So now that we have the two equations in terms of x, the two equations where x is the subject of the formula, we have x here and we have x here. This is the value of x in the first equation. This is the value of x in the second equation. Now we will have to introduce what we know has equivalence. So we are now going to compare the two equations. So this one here is going to be equivalent with this one. Let us see it. So we are going to the second step, which is to equate the values of x in the first and the second equation. So the value of x in the first equation was 1 minus 2y, and the value of x in the second equation was 7 minus 4y all over 3. Okay, this is coming from the fact that x, the value of x in the first equation is equal to value of x in the second equation. So x is equal to x. That is something that we know. It's true. It's mathematical fact. So here we will have these equations. Now these new equations is having another problem. You have y here and you have y here, but we need to find the value of y. So let us systematically approach this problem. So the first thing that we have to deal with is this denominator here, and for this denominator to go away, we have to multiply both sides by 3, both sides by 3. If we multiply this side by 3, this 3 will cancel with the other 3 that we will introduce. So here, this 3 and this 3 will cancel. So if they cancel, then you will remain with 7 minus 4y, and this 3 into bracket 1 minus 2y. So it is this 3 that will multiply both sides that come here, and this 3 are common, and one is numerator and one is denominator. If you have the same number as denominator and numerator, they cancel out. So then you remain with only this term. So here we will have this equation. After cancelling this one, we will have these equations, which is 3 into bracket 1 minus 2y is equal to 7 minus 4y. So now that we have the equation that is only containing the terms, the variable y, let's find the possibility of finding the value of y. But we have this problem, there is this bracket here, so let us deal with the brackets. If we deal with the bracket, we open the bracket here, we will have 3 times 1, and then 3 times 2, so that we are going to have 3 minus 6. So this is what we have here. Now you have y here and you have y here, so let us bring all together the values containing y, okay, all the variable containing y. So this y here, we want to get rid of it, so to get rid of it we have to add another 4y here, and then we add 4y on the other side too. These 3 we need to get rid of it, and to get rid of it we have to subtract 3 here and also subtract 3 on the other side. So the new equation is going to be like negative 6y plus 4y, because this 4 here cross over to the other side of the equation where it becomes positive, is equal to 7 minus 3. This minus 3 is coming from the fact that we were subtracting 3 from both sides. So if the number is positive here and crossing equal sign, it becomes negative, as you can see here. So if we subtract that, we know that negative 6y plus 4y gives us negative 2y is equal to 4. But our target here is to find the value of y. So let us divide it both sides by negative 2, both sides by negative 2. If you divide both sides by negative 2, then you will realize that the overall value of y is going to be negative 2. Now that we have the value of y, what are we going to do? We are going to take that value of y and we substitute it in any of the What equation do we take? Let us take equations 2. Okay, this was the form of the transform equation of 2. So what is the value of y? Here you have y here, but we know the value of y. So let us substitute in the value of y, which is negative 2, into these equations. So we are going to put it in place of y there. If we put it there, then we have to make sure that they are separated by the brackets, so that it signifies that we are going to multiply these numbers. So if we open the bracket, 4 times negative 2, and then we will get what we know as 8. But negative and negative cancel each other. They will give you something like positive, because if negative and negative is following each other, they give you positive. So 7 plus 8 will give us 15. 15 divided by 3 definitely gives us 5. So the value of x here is equal to 5. So what is the solution set for this equation? The solution set is 5 and negative 2, 5 and comma negative 2, whereby 5 is the value of x and negative 2 is the value of y. We write this one in form of coordinates, and in coordinates we know that it is the x value that comes before the y value comes. So y value comes after x value. That is now equations 1. You can take these values actually, you can take these numbers actually, and then you substitute all of them inside these equations and you will get your answer. Like for example, if we take 5 here and we put it in place of x, then we take negative 2 and we put it in place of 4, then definitely you will realize that this is going to be 4, this is going to be 8, so it's 7 minus 8, which is going to be 15 all over 3. 15 all over 3 is 5, so 5 is equal to 5. So that is how you put. So this is the second equation. The second equation is having the second question. The second question is having first equation as 2x minus 5y is equal to 14, and then second equation is 4x plus 3y is equal to 2. Now what do we do first? So the first step is that we must make sure that we make x the subject of the formula in both equations. So by making x the subject of the formula in equation 1 and 2, for the equation 1, we know that 2x minus 5y is equal to 14. So we now want to get rid of negative 5y, so that we remain with 2x here, and then we only need to remain with x. So we divide both sides by 2. So that is the steps you are going to follow. So if you add 5y on this side, and then this is going to make this as 0, and then 5y be added on this side. So let us see what happens in the slide. So we add 5y on both sides of the equation, so let us add, and then this makes this one 0. So you remain with what? With 2x is equal to 14 plus 5y. Now we are going to divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2, okay? So if you divide both sides by 2, you remain with x here, and you have 14 plus 5y all over 2. So now that we have done that steps, we are going to get the value of x is equal to 5y plus 14 all over 2. Let's go to the second equation. The second equation is 4x plus 3y is equal to 2. Now we want to get rid of 3y, so let us subtract 3y from both sides. So if we subtract 3y from both sides, then we will definitely have like 4x plus 3y minus 3y is equal to 2 minus 3y. So this is going to be 0. So you remain with 4x is equal to 2 minus 3y. So 4x is equal to 2 minus 3y. So we only need to remain with x here. So divide both sides by 4. Both sides by 4. And then if you divide both sides by 4, you realize that x is going to be 2 minus 3y all over 4. So now that you have the two values of x in the first equation, you have the value of x in the first equation and value of y in the second equation. What do we do? What we do is that we equate the two values, and I told you before that the meaning of equate is to make equals, to make equivalence, and that was why we said this is solving simultaneous equation by equivalence. So let us make the value of x in the first equation is 5y plus 14 all over 2. And the value of x in the second equation is 2 minus 3y is equal to 4. Now we are going to make these two equals. So we are going to have like 5y plus 14 all over 2 is equal to 2 minus 3y all over 4. Now as you can see, there is no longer x here. We have gotten rid of x, and we have equated the values of x. So we only remain with the one unknown here, which is y. So now we have one problem here, and that problem is the fact that we have the denominators. So obviously in mathematics, if you have the denominators on both sides of the equation, that you just have to do what we call cross multiplication, whereby the denominator in the left hand side multiply the expressions on the right hand side, and denominator on the right hand side multiply the expressions in the left hand side. Okay, so let's see that. So this 4 here is going to multiply 5y plus 14, and this 2 here is going to multiply 2 minus 3y. So let us do that. So we have now seen 4 is multiplying this, and this is this, and then 2 is multiplying this, and this is this. So let us do the simple multiplication. 4 times 5y give us what? 20y. And 4 times 14 give us 56. 2 times 2 give us 4. And 2 times 3 give us negative 6. So now that we have that equations, we need to bring the like term together. So 6y have to come this side, and 56 have to go that side. So as you can see, this is negative here. So it when it cross over to the opposite sign, it becomes positive. This is positive here, so it becomes negative. So subtract 56 from both sides and add 6y to both sides. So if we do that, 56 we subtract from both sides, and then we add 6y to both sides. So here is going to give us 0, and here is also going to give us 0. So we remain with 2y plus 6y is equal to 4 minus 56, because the whole of this is going to be 0. So we don't write 0 here. So if we add 2y plus 6y, you just add the coefficients. So the coefficient here are 26. 6 plus 20 is 26, and then you just consider the variable. And then you subtract 4 from 56. As you can see, we are subtracting a big number from a small number, and that always will give us a value. So we have negative 52. So we now want to get the value of y only. So we divided both sides by 26. If we divided both sides by 26, what do we get? We will get 26 all over 26y all over 26 is equal to negative 52 all over 26. But what is 52 divided by 26? It's equal to 2. okay, but it is negative because we have this negative here. So if you just write it as 2, please make sure that you are wrong. Don't make a mistake of forgetting the sign. That is very crucial in math. So now we have the value of y. So let us substitute the value of y into any equations where x is the subject of the formula. So let us take one equation, and this was one of the equations, which is actually equation 2, x is equal to 2 minus 3y all over 4. But don't always make it as a rule that you must always take equation 2. You can take any equations. Now if we substitute negative 2 to this side, so we are going to have something like this. So 2 minus 3 into bracket is, this is negative 2. So we are going to multiply 3 and 2, which is going to give us negative what? Negative 6. So negative and negative following each other give us positive. So we are going to have 2 plus 6. 2 plus 6 give us what? Give us 8. And then we already have a denominator here, which is 4. So if we divide that, you realize that x is equal to what? X is equal to 2. And then if x is equal to 2, that means the solution set is going to be 2 and negative 2. Negative 2 here is for y. So x come first, y come after. So always write this, especially when you are asked to find the solution set of the simultaneous equation. So this is all about the today topic, and I hope you guys will understand the explanation here. Please, if you don't understand anything, I'm always available. You can ask questions through our online class, which is Google Classroom. You can also ask in the WhatsApp page, WhatsApp group chat. So you can send to your classmate, try to solve as many questions as you can. The next topic is going to be solving by substitution, which is in the Sudanese book. They call it cancelling by substitution. So see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much, and thanks for your time. Always practice math. To learn math is to always practice, so don't give up. Thank you.